Hi, Floss Tube. Pam back from Stitching Between the Lines. What a wonderful reception I have received from all of you. Um, so welcoming, so nice, such a nice community. Anyway, I'm back so soon because first it's, a learning process and I maybe have my account fixed so I can upload more than 15 minutes. We'll see. I tried to do stuff on my computer and my computer recognizes that there's a new account under my Gmail name email. But every time I log in, it logs me into my first and original account where it says I don't have any videos and I don't have anybody I'm following because I deleted y'all out and moved you over. Sorry. So I really don't know what the deal is. So I'm back on the iPad. Hopefully I can do everything all in one shot and upload it in one shot so that you don't have to, go look for a second video that I can't figure out where the exact middle is and start again. So it's, like I said, a learning process. And also, I'm back so soon because I'm still home. I'm leaving for Florida on Wednesday, and I'll be down there until the first part of March. So I won't have my at-home stash to talk about, to show you. It's possible there'll be some new things, and there'll certainly be some progress on what I am taking. I am taking only one main project and a couple little things like a couple Mill Hills ornaments. So hopefully can see those when I take stitching away from home and away from my magnifier. So anyway, I will start with that piece. I have to reach over and get it, so hang on. This piece that I am taking to Florida is the piece that I had to go buy in Florida last summer because I got there and had nothing to work on. Crazy nonsense, I know. But I had just discovered from YouTube the Good Reader app on my iPad, and it's like Goodreads where you keep your books, you keep inventory of what you're reading and what you've read, but it's Good Reader, and you can only put it on an Apple iPad. If you have another kind of tablet, you're going to have to look for a comparable PDF reader, and I can't say anything about how it works. I watched Carolyn Mazzio's tutorials on how to use the Good Reader app, so I can speak to that and how much I like that. But if you don't have an Apple product, I'm sorry to say, I understand you can't use it. But what I went and did, because I had newly just found Cooler Designs website, and it's Cooler Designs with a K, that they sell PDFs. So this is what I just downloaded, a free one to see how it would work and played around. Then when I got to Florida and had no sewing, I quick went back to Cooler Designs and I downloaded one of the charts that I really liked, and it is this. It is the night before Christmas. I hope that's not backwards. It's backwards from what I'm looking at. Holy cow, that's something else for me to figure out. So anyway, I went to Joann Fabrics and bought the fabric and the threads, and I got started on that. Anybody want to tell me how to make that not backwards? I'll read your comment and do the adjustment. Thanks. So anyway, that's what I started, and I have not touched it since the summer. And this is what I managed to stitch. Quite a lot, actually. I'd never get this done in 10 days or whatever I had. Santa and the banner under him. I quit. I don't know why I didn't work on his bag of toys. Could be I ran out of time, and I had this dark, probably 3371 on the needle, and I just kind of kept going off to the right. I stitch my stuff from the center out. I go from the center out to the right, up and down, and then I go left up and left down. And the reason I do it that way is I stitch in hand and I roll it up, and I don't want to roll up what I've already sewn if I don't, any longer than I have to. So this is all in a bag ready to travel to Florida. I have made a number of these project bags. Let's see if I can get it. It's a pattern. It's an actual pattern, so I can't demo anything. A purchase pattern. I think it's called sorry, I don't remember. I posted on my blog the other day, or a week or two or three ago, about this. It's something like a file bag. I don't know. So it's the right size to hold like a file. So of course it holds a pattern. Has a pocket in the front, and it has a pocket in the back, and then a Velcro pocket in the back. If I can make that work. So if you have a lot of little ditties and things to take, and they really are fun bags because you make the lining anyhow you want. I have a serger, so I serge my edges. It makes a nice finished edge. You can make them bigger, you can make them smaller, and you can box the corners, none of which I have done on this. I did serge it, but there's no boxing, no making it any bigger. So anyway, there's that. There's my Florida project. So I like using that Good Reader app because you can highlight what you've done. So I'm just going to show you real quick. I printed it out this morning so I have the picture to show you. Otherwise, I hadn't even printed it out. But I'm just going to show you a teeny little part of it because it printed out. So you can see in the blue, that's all highlighted on there. It saves it highlighted. It saves the file unhighlighted. I just selected the one that happened to be highlighted. I didn't really know. Didn't look. So what you can do is once you've put that, done that symbol, you can touch it with your little stylus and turn it a color. What you can't do is search where are those symbols and have it show you in highlight. So you have to look. But you can expand the page so that you can be looking at gigantic symbols if you need to, or make it smaller. What I usually do is when I am going to start one symbol, I will look hard at the page that's on my iPad screen, and I will highlight those symbols with a different color. And then when I'm stitching them, I change their color to the color that I used for finished. And on my Heaven and Earth design pattern, that is a fabulous thing because sometimes you get all done and you think you're done with the whole area of color, and then you discover there's like a stray one only 3 stitches over. But because you're looking at your pattern, you're looking at your fabric, you're looking, you don't concentrate as hard as if you are concentrating only on that, looking only for those symbols. So I have found that to be a really nice feature of that Good Reader app. So then, other than this whip, I only have 2 others. I really do work almost one at a time at each stitching chair, and then I have a Heaven and Earth design pattern that's underway, which I try to do like a page a month, which has not worked out to that at all. I think I've done 3 pages. We'll look. Things keep getting in the way of that. You have to have some dedicated time and some concentration. It can't just be your tired evening stitching. And over the summer, my whole stitching, other than this Santa Christmas piece, my sewing got hijacked, and if you read my blog, you'll see why. But I got involved way over my head in a community theater production of Beauty and the Beast. K's cross stitch. My involvement was a little different. I was in the costume making business, not to make money, but that's what we did with the community theater. My friend and I, my husband and her husband, have been active in the school drama club when our own kids were in school. And my friend and I made costumes. We'd show up on set build days, which were usually Saturdays, and we'd bring our sewing machines, and somebody would have already cut out what we needed and said, here, sew this. Here, put these pieces together to look like a skirt. Here, do this. So when our director from the high school got involved in the area-wide community theater production of Beauty and the Beast, he needed to have a kind of staff in line when he applied. It was an emergency situation that the whole community there had been an upheaval in the community theater event. So he stepped up and he took it on, and we said, all right, we'll help with costumes. We didn't know that was going to mean we were going to be making things from pictures, from our minds, you have no idea. I'm not a seamstress. I'm not a garment sewer. I can make a quilt a quilt like the best of them, but holy cow. So that dominated my summer. I won't ever do that again. We won an award from the state. It was all fabulous, but I'm telling you, I will never do that again. We were so in over our heads, but all my other sewing and quilting and anything else took a big time backseat. So my Heaven and Earth design pattern did not get the work it should have over the summer. And then I was going to do another page before we went to Florida, but again, if you read my blog, I had a major dental catastrophe at the beginning of the year. And since then, what's today, like the 29th, I've been to the dentist 5 times, the oral surgeon included, and it's not over yet. And so it's been a lot of not really good quality stitching time. So anyway, so I'll show you my Heaven and Earth. I should save the best for last, but it is a Jane Wooster Scott, Vibrant Vistas, and oh, I'm sorry, it's going to be backwards. I don't know why, unless you guys are seeing it straight and I'm seeing it backwards. When I discovered Heaven and Earth, I knew I had to do one. So when I finally decided I was going to do one, I searched and searched and searched. And then it was hard. I had to think hard about what I really wanted to do and wanted to stitch. So this is one of the designs I purchased. I actually purchased another one. It's a Christmas tree like in the middle of the town square. So anyway, there's this one. And I finally got myself organized. It takes, I bobbinate my floss, DMC, and it's a full box full of flosses for this. And I only put in a single floss bobbin per color, really. 1, 2, 3. So yeah, I do have 3 pages done, and I float a little ways into the fourth. So the way I'm doing this, I purchased the Magic Grid fabric from the Heaven and Earth Design website, 25 count, and I've been stitching a really long time. There's a X missing. Look at that. And I know it's highlighted in my Goodreader app to go back the next time I have that thread in the needle and catch up that stitch. I really think it was a mistake because it's a weird color all of a sudden in the middle of that fall cloud. So I don't know. I'll fill it in. I really do tend to work across the page in the color I'm doing. I really don't lose my place. I am marking this pattern. That is not my normal way to do things, but I am marking because of the Goodreader app. I purchased the pattern in paper form, and then when I learned how much I liked the Goodreader app, I went back and I purchased the downloadable PDF form. So then I can really highlight and block out and all that. So this is almost the edge of page 4. I really worked from page 3 in these big blocks of color. I just kept going until I ran out of, the color ran out and it was going to start to be another color. So really page 4 is pretty well underway. Another odd thing that happened is this whole square here is page 1. The tree I'm going to go back and do, there's so much little tiny one stitch of this, one stitch of that in the tree that when I get down into the bulk of the tree down here, I'll go back up and capture those stitches. This tree itself took me probably as long as all of this background took me. It's so confetti heavy, and I went down into the page below and put some stitches in that were from colors I used up above. That was really tedious. Trees, holy cow, trees. Trees are not good. And then I'm using 3 strands of DMC and doing, I've been stitching forever and I never had to call anything. I don't know if it's a 10th stitch. I don't know. I call it a half stitch. I know that's not what it is. It's like a needle point where you just come up in one corner and go down in the opposite corner and that's it. There's no cross made. I tried doing it 2 over 2, making full X's, and my poor fingers, I could not grip that needle and pull it. I use a little tiny 20, they recommend the 28 petites. You need a little tiny needle, which I break 1 or 2 per page. But anyway, I just couldn't, my poor knuckles could not handle that, pulling that needle. So I took out what I had done, and then plus I had made a mistake in color. I had started right out with some wrong color. I don't have any idea. You'd think you'd be trying really hard on your first page, but I guess not. And anyway, I'm like